Hey guys, and welcome to Into the Square, your weekly podcast for social issues and current affairs. I'm your host Kishor, and with me we have Bishop and Sanjog. How
Hi
you guys
guys.
doing, guys?
Yeah, not too bad, man.
Doing
Not too
good.
bad.
All right. So as you may have noticed, we don't have Bidan with us today. He's a bit busy today, so we decided to go on without him. So for today's topic, we're discussing AI and where the future of AI is headed. So what is everyone's initial thoughts on AI? Like, what do you guys think about it so far? Like,
So yeah, I think AI has advanced like so much, especially recently. And where I last noticed like how like just how powerful AI is when I noticed my mum's TikTok video feed.
yeah,
So I don't know if your parents also use TikTok, and what I noticed is that all of her TikTok is in Nepalese, and it like clearly identifies what she likes doing and what she likes cooking and everything. And I find it crazy that just from your behavior and the algorithm analyzing it, it can just give you like things that videos that you would want to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, same for me as well. So, I don't know if you mentioned on like what AI is. So, we said about how AI is like artificial intelligence and things. For me, like artificial intelligence basically just means like it's man-made, and intelligence just means that it has the capability to analyze information and then basically carry out functions and different actions. So yeah, so that's what I would say AI in a nutshell is for me. In terms of my experience with the AI so far, I think yeah, like Bishop said, it's crazy how like it can do all of these things because it's like it just feels like a human's controlling that itself. So for example, like if I'm just like randomly browsing on Amazon or stuff, and like in the next time like if I'm using that like Instagram or something, I'll get that in my Instagram like as a sponsored thing. So like it can be a bit like weird and like but quite scary that someone's actually just looking down on you or like could try to control like your behavior and things like that. But it's still quite helpful sometimes, like especially like if you um are shopping and stuff, and good things just come up, and especially like in in TikTok and things like you said, like if you have like set themes of what you're looking at, it's quite helpful to like get the same ones and things. So yeah, it can be helpful, but also it's a bit scary at the same time.
yeah. That's like what my another point was. You already said it, but I was gonna say what everyone's definition of AI is. So like, what does AI mean for you, and like what you think it means? Because it is a very like complex topic. It's a very like new thing. It's not like it's been around for that long. So what you guys like? What do you guys think AI means to you? Bishop, obviously, I think so.
So so from what I understand of AI, is that when we try to mimic human intelligence in programs basically. So rather than having the general algorithmic style of programming where you tell the program to do this, if this is the
Yeah.
input, you have this output. It's more that the program can change its output depending on the data it's given and learn basically from the information is given.
So yeah, you're kind of on the right lines. Artificial intelligence, basically, it's all the definition of artificial intelligence is always changing. There's no like one set definition. It's because it's always evolving, right? There's always new things coming and going, and like so. But like the set definition so far, it refers to the human simulation. Sorry, it refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think like humans and mimic their actions. So what this means is like whatever the latest technology that we have, that's the that's the closest thing to human intelligence that we're gonna get. That's what AI is. So like maybe like 50 years down before, when computers were the new thing, they were considered AI, whereas now they're just machines, they're just computers. But like now, it would be like a robot or like something in your phone that has like artificial intelligence in it. It's like whatever the latest thing in technology is, that's what AI is basically.
Yeah,
So
that
let
that makes sense to
let's
be fair.
yeah, let's discuss like the benefits of AI then. What do you guys think is like the really good things about AI?
So what I think will be the benefits of AI, especially in the future, is that it will be able to do the repetitive tasks that humans do, and things that we find generally boring. I mean, if Bilan was here, I might have to ask him if it's because I think he might want to go into accounting or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So there's things like that where it's very quite repetitive. That can be just computerized.
Yeah.
And also, I guess one thing I was thinking, that AI would be good at is also solving loneliness.
Really?
I know it sounds crazy. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy. Yeah, but I was just thinking, for example, do you know those chatbots? Where now they're so advanced, where you feel it's hard to distinguish that you've been talking to a human. I think there was that law that some person made, right? That if you can't figure out who you're talking to, if it's a human or a machine,
Turing.
then
It's a Turing
it's me. Yeah, the tuning test. Yeah,
It's
Turing
not a
test.
law. It's just
So-
a test. To test it.
Yeah, so that test. So now, I feel like even the chatbots are getting so good you can't even tell.
Yeah.
So imagine if people are just lonely, and especially in these times where loads of people don't have anyone to even talk to, then you just maybe use that even.
It's a good. There's a lot of advanced stuff out there for chatbots and just talking to someone. So that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Sanjo?
I think in terms of the good part of AI, we've touched a bit on it as well, but I think like Bishop said, it removes a lot of human error in things as well, especially if you think about all of the repetitive tasks that we'll be doing. We're bound to make some mistakes, and we're bound to as a result have loads of consequences for that. So it removes that aspect and makes you consistently have the same accuracy, even if you're doing it for 1,000 times a day. So I think that's one of the major good thing about AI. Another thing is even just for entertainment and stuff. So we've always seen it already so far, for video games and playing FIFA and stuff. A lot of that is just AI as well. And it's just there for entertainment, just for helping with other aspects of life, not just serious part of it as well. So I think that's one of the major benefits of AI so far.
Yeah. Sorry, I need a bit of water. But yeah, there's a lot of benefits. There's a wide range of benefits. It can be used for it can make life convenient. You've got Siri, you've got Google, you've got Amazon Echo. There's online applications that use AI that make life a million times easier. It can remove human, as you said, it removes human error. There's weather forecasts that are more accurate because of AI than actual humans doing it, calculating or all the stuff that they need to calculate. But when an AI does it, it's so much better. The Mars rover, for example, the sent to Mars, that uses AI. There's a lot of things, and there's also it can be used for creative purposes. If you guys didn't know, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of applications online that you can so that the AI writes a short story for you, or you can give it prompts and it will write a full story for you. So if you have writer's block, you can just use that sort of stuff. So I think there's a lot of. So we've discussed. Yeah, I think that's really amazing. What it's come to now. I think there's a lot of benefits. So let's talk about the drawbacks of AI though. There's with benefits comes drawbacks. So there's going to be a lot of drawbacks, as you can probably assume.
The thing is, you guys talked about the positives of chatbots, yeah, but I've also had some negative experiences with chatbots in the sense they've not been that accurate as well at the same time. For example, even just a simple example, I wanted to do some stuff with their banking and stuff, and then especially during the corona pandemics and stuff, there's not much people picking up the calls, so you have to use a lot of these chatbots and things, and literally it will just guide me to just loads of different pages that just have to read loads of information, and it wouldn't actually tell me the information. So
Yeah.
I think it at the end it does come down to how well you compute it, you know what I mean? So it does come down to how well humans have carried out those AI technologies. So
Yeah.
it's not it's going to be automatically just be able to develop these minds like humans to answer your questions and things like that. So I think the main drawback with AI is you can only make it as good as humans can make it. So that's
That's
one of the main drawbacks as well. And another thing, is you know about cars and things like there's like driving cars as well and stuff like that now, especially like Tesla and they got other cars that self-drive as well, and just having that in itself is like a bit of like unsafeness as well. So like imagine just like you just being driven around at like 70, 80 miles per hour, like, and you're not even touching any steering wheel or any accelerator or whatever. It just feels a bit like, do you put your lives on just on just technology? And like there's been cases as well like where like cyclists or even people have been killed because of the cars haven't been able to detect some of the the pedestrians and things like that. So it does come down to the fact that is it actually safe overall to
Yeah.
be used in like such a large scale and things like that. So yeah, the unsafeness of it and also the accuracy of it is like one of the major drawbacks, I think, for me.
Yeah, that's the being unsafe, because like what AI doesn't have is practical thinking. It's like it can't make the same decisions a human can make. So like
Mm.
issues with like people driving across the road like randomly, do you stop or do you like, there's like philosophical issues that AI can't achieve. So like, have you heard of those philosophical issues about the like the who would you run over, like a
Oh
young
yeah.
boy or an old man or something, like those sort of philosophical issues? Have you heard about that?
Okay.
It's
No.
like
Yeah, but I'm sure that you can program.
it's
I
very
mean,
hard.
You can't obviously.
It's very
Yeah.
hard to do. Like that's like one of the major issues for for developing self-driving cars, because it can't do, like, it's very hard for it to do practical thinking. Who should it like? What's the best option it can go to like avoid the least amount of damage? I mean, it does, but it's not to the point where it's not as accurate as like humans can. Whereas like we have more like we have more like practical thinking, and we have more like we can see like a way out, which is like the best way for like to cause the less damage. Whereas like AI, it only has one goal. It's very goal oriented, and only has one goal, and its goal is to achieve that goal. And it would do it like the easiest way it can to achieve that goal, or the fastest way it can.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the like biggest problems with AI. Bishop.
And I think so. One drawback that I mean a lot of people have, I guess, in their mind is the fact that of unemployment. If AI keeps on getting better, there's always these talks about will AI make doctors go out of job because there'll be algorithms to diagnose people, or like there's always talk about having robots being servers in restaurants and taking orders, or even serving, making burgers and that as well. So we have to be concerned in the sense that if AI and machines do start doing human jobs and doing it better than us in the future, then what will we be doing with our free time? And especially if unemployment arises. I know there's talks about universal income and all that, but if there's unemployment without these safety nets in society beforehand, then you could get more instability in society,
Yeah.
basically, if there's a rise in unemployment.
Yeah, there's.
I don't know though. Like, oh, sorry.
No, go on, Sanjay.
I don't know. Like, I'm quite skeptical as to. Obviously, there are like loads of like advancement with AI, and it's rapidly developing. But I'm quite skeptical to think like if it would actually cause like unemployment, especially like you mentioned like within the medical sector or things like that. Because at the end of the day, it depends on how big the stakes are, I think. So for example, if it's just carrying out like basic stuff where there's not like large consequences of when AI messes up or something, then you can see like those jobs being at risk, or especially if there's like large like constructions or stuff like that, those kind of things, like where not constructions in particular, but like just like repetitive tasks and things like that, like where those jobs might be at risk. But like in terms of like you said, the medical stuff, or even like driving, and where there's like more risks or more things that could go wrong, and there's greater consequences of those things going wrong, I think those are the jobs that are safe or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like that those are the jobs that are less likely to be replaced by AI, I think, personally.
Yeah, so that's understandable. But I guess what we're doing is we're comparing how good it is right now, to humans right now. But what we should be worried about is how good will it be in the future, and especially with how quickly things are advancing. Like if we think back to 2000, like the only phone around was that brick Nokia phone, and now like look how far we've come. I mean, it doesn't seem like that, but we have come quite far, even within the last 20 years. So what could be in the next 20 years, especially with increased amount of investment in this sort of technology? I think the AI could be capable of a lot of things. And even now, like I feel like planes are mostly just autopilot, right? And then like pilots just stay there just to make sure everything's alright. But a lot of it's just flown by itself. So even in high risk jobs, like AI is slowly coming to take over, and humans are just playing a role of where they're just seeing that it's doing its job right. And and the problem with unemployment could just be that one human could take over like jobs of 6 7 people. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that AI will completely uh, put everyone out of employment. Even if it makes just one person more efficient at doing that one job, it could mean that loads of people might not have their job.
You guys talking about even the future, but right now there's a lot of like jobs being redundant because of AI and machines. For example, like when you go to Tesco and it's anything, how many like workers do you see? It's because of like you only see like 3 or 4 now, where it used to be packed with people with tills, like scanning stuff. Like AI is already affecting so many like not like the highly technical roles, but like the lower down like manual labor and stuff. It's affecting a lot of blue collar workers a lot. Like even not even let's say Tesco, let's say factory workers. There's a lot of jobs being redundant because of AI, and a lot of people will blame those on like immigration, and like oh people are coming in like immigrants are coming in and taking our jobs, but what people don't know is because they're being redundant because it's cheaper for a robot to do their job for them basically. And and then I'd say in like when self-driving cars come, I think lorry drivers will also be redundant because no one's gonna. I think it would be much easier for people for like self-driving lorries to take cargo back and forth. So I think that's like one of the biggest things. I think also there's a lot of like ethical stuff whether we should have AI, like we should be like using AI in this way. Like it makes humans very lazy. We're like really dependent on stuff. Like if we can't even decide what to watch, like even say for entertainment purposes, we can't even decide for us what to watch. So TikTok gives us like a lot of things to watch. It's like the algorithm is that crazy. It just knows everything that we like, and I think it's a bit scary for like robots and things to know that much about us. There's a lot of like data privacy issues where Google uses AI to like take data from you, take what you're searching from the web, and like use that data and sell that data. I think that's very scary, and if that's happening now, imagine what will happen in the future. Like it's a lot of like it's a lot like that show Black Mirror. I don't know if you guys watched it, but like where where there's a lot of like there's a lot of there's a lot of things that can go wrong with AI, and I think it's a very scary like as well as it being very like positive things. There's a lot of positive things that can be taken. There's a very wide range of negative issues.
Yeah, I think you mentioned Black Mirror, didn't you? So
Yeah.
yeah, having watched that program, I mean, not of all of it, but a few episodes. I don't think I'm particularly interested in having in the future having a life like that. Even though a lot of it will be helpful, but it's just I don't know. You just feel like a bit unsecure in those, in a situation where like anything can happen. Like you don't realize what you're doing and the consequences of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So like you don't know what they know. That's the most scary thing. Like you said about Google and thing. I have a Google Home in my room right now, and like if I just say like I'm not gonna say it because it's gonna start making noise, but if I were to say those 2 words, and it will literally just pick up and like just respond to me straight away. But I know for it to do that, it's constantly listening to me all the time. Surely, you know what I mean? 100%. So like the Google, like the Google people at the back in the companies and the factories, whatever, offices, they probably can listen to everything I'm saying right now for them to pick up the fact that I'm going to say those two words. So I think in just that itself is so scary. Like you wouldn't really, allow anyone to, project your room, like, have a mic in your room and project it to everywhere else in the whole world or in town, would you? That, because it's such like a private area, but you're allowing equipments like AI, like Google, to come into your room and just be part of your room, or like be someone that can just eavesdrops into your room. So like it's so crazy, like how we're just allowing that and we don't see the consequences of it, and myself included as well.
So yeah, so I think that's a very interesting point both of you guys raised. So firstly about what Kishor said about the lorry drivers, and also about the data protection that both of you guys said. So just be quickly commenting on that. So I think with both of these two things of jobs being lost and also data protection, what matters is good policy making.
Yeah.
And like policies being able to keep up with the advances in technology. So for example, if we have universal basic income to make sure that people aren't redundant in this shift in how our job market will look like, just to make sure everything is stable, and also in data protection, just to have, obviously there's like that, it's a lot more stricter now, right? We need to like
There's a lot of
GDR,
GDPR,
just for GDPR, and there's a lot more restricted now in terms of like data protection, a lot better now.
and it's not being restricted. It's just there's a lot more steps companies need to take to access our data, basically.
Yeah, and but what is worrying is that our policymakers and the politicians that we have are quite. A lot of politicians are basically quite old. Yeah, they're quite old, and they're not up to date with what is going on and how fast things are changing. And not to say that every old person is bad at technology. I mean, Bill Gates, I'm sure, is very amazing at what he does. But we need politicians that know what they're talking about. I remember just watching that interview with Mark Zuckerberg, and when I think Senate members were questioning him, and they were asking some questions that were just so sus. Like you could just tell like they just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And it's not reassuring when we have policymakers who aren't up to date with what's going on.
It's also like very worrying that how we're allowing these billionaires to like control so much about us. Like even you mentioned Mark Zuckerberg, he's got like so much power right now, and then we're just allowing that because he owns three or four of the biggest companies that we use every day. Like we got Facebook, we got Messenger, we got WhatsApp, we got Instagram. How many times do you guys use that? It's crazy. And then we're just allowing him to like have that much control. And then people like Elon Musk, should we really like give our like trust in one guy to help us? Like, because if you guys don't know what Elon Musk is like, they're going to, he's making rockets to go to Mars. He's building tunnels to help solve traffic. He's implanting neurochips in our brains to I'm not even joking. This is
I know.
Elon Musk is basically a cult figure.
He's like, it's crazy. And like we've got Jeff Bezos, I think he's the worst of them all. Like he's also wanting to go to space with Elon Musk. There's this whole like billionaire space race. It's crazy, man. Like, should we allow all these big companies to have so much control over like what the aspect of our lives is, or should we leave that to the politicians? That's what I think. Go on.
So I do think the power of these people needs to be controlled better, especially as there's a great, like, huge risk of a monopoly being created. If someone wins the AI like race and gets ahead and is better than the competition, it's such a huge advantage in the market, especially if they're able to, for example, have self-driving cars. Look how many jobs like will be gone, and then the amount of the huge monopoly they could have is, even right now with Facebook, there's just too much power, and this is quite easy for them to exploit this power as well. And I think that there needs to be better checks for this.
Yeah, I think like it's quite hard though to do, because as consumers of these big companies, right, we we like the convenience that it brings to us, and like we focus a lot on the positives that it brings to our lives, and they do it in a way so that we only ever focus on the positives. We never really see the negatives of it. Like it could be, like you said, there definitely needs to be better policy making where we actually see, or even like in education, like in school or something, we get taught about social media, we get taught about these big companies of how they can have these data and stuff like that. We never get taught about these things, and there's not a lot of awareness about it as well. So I think we are constantly just focused in the positives of these companies and having like a convenience of Amazon, or like, you know, getting a next day delivery, or like, you know, being able to connect to your friends using Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. So we just see the positive of it, and then we just kind of think, oh yeah, it's all right, it's just part of our lives as well now. Like, and that's the main thing. Like, they've done it in a way that it's just part of our lives.
Exactly.
They've done it so we kind of just don't want to get rid of it. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
so like,
it's like the negative of the convenience of it is too convenient for us to like go back. Now they've made it so easy for us. Like with Amazon, it's crazy. I can just go tap and it comes tomorrow. Sometimes they come today. It's crazy.
Well, one thing I was gonna say is, am I the only one who thinks that data protection is overhyped? Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Bro.
I feel like I'm just not that special enough for someone to to care about my data that much.
It's not.
Like,
It's not about your data yourself. It's just like it's like if someone's got like a telescope like in your room the whole time, like watching your every moment, your every step. That's what it's like. Would you want that? Would you not care? Would you be like calm?
yeah, but someone needs to tune into that. Like, why would they pick me out?
It's not
everyone.
picking you. They're picking everyone. They're doing that to everyone. It's not just you. It's everyone that they've got a telescope to your room. They've got a mic to your like hidden somewhere, and they can track your every location.
Yeah.
That's scary, man. Like, I need some privacy in my life.
Sorry, this is a bit of a tangent, and people get worried about vaccines having microchips, and they don't realize this.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I know
it's
the
crazy,
real
man.
problem is this, though. Yeah.
It is.
So yeah.
So now that I think we've discussed all the drawbacks, let's discuss like the new developments in AI, and there's a lot, but I think I've narrowed that down to like 3 or 4. Have you guys heard of Boston Dynamics?
No, explain, bro.
So basically, they're like this company that creates highly mobile dynamic robots.
Oh yeah.
Like, have you seen those YouTube videos of those? Like,
Yeah, when they kick that, and then
it's so scary. Like, they'll kick it and then it'll just come back up, and like, so they've created like such advanced robots that can like walk on its own. It can like do a lot of like, it can do a flip on its own. It can like, if someone attacks it, it can like get back up on its own. Like, it could be 4-legged, it could be 2-legged, and they've been used in the military now. Like, the military
really?
have bought these robots to be used in the military, and I think that's very worrying as well, because the U.S. military, they love buying weapons and stuff. Now, when they've got their hands on like shit like this, you don't know like what they're capable of.
And that's quite scary, because there's already drones
Exactly.
where, you know, the US military can just bomb places without even having any risk to a life. But now they don't even need
A
like
person
they could be a
controlling.
point, or a person on land controlling. They just have like a robot and someone at the office just controlling it like that, and that's quite scary in a
And
sense.
then
Because it makes warfare just more readily
usable,
less
yeah.
risk, so more likely to do it. Yeah.
And it's not even like, and it's like, what if the robot, like, it can, like, it's not like 100% like guaranteed that it will work. What if like the robot, like, sort of, I know it's like very like imaginative and like very fictional, but what if the robot turns on you, and like, what if like you can't, like, because it's AI, it's learning everything by itself, right? There's not like a program set like attack this and do this. It's learning everything by itself. So another scary thing is, what if it learns something wrong that we don't want it to learn, and it attacks the wrong person? That's another like
Have you guys watched that movie?
iRobot, yeah.
Yeah, you're just describing iRobot basically, bro.
But I'm not like this. That's the future we're headed to. That's it can happen where it's like that, and there's a lot of worries from like the computer science community, like and like that's where we're headed. Another example is Neuralink. I mentioned it briefly before, but it's a company founded by Elon Musk, where they're focused on applying neuroscience, biochemistry, and robotics all in one. So what it basically does, what they're working on is applying and putting implants in your brain that will activate neurons, and then it was basically started off with short term. It started off as with its short term goals of helping to treat like serious brain diseases,
Okay.
and they haven't achieved that yet. So they're still working on like animals right now. But then what they said they wanted to go into is human enhancement. So like you could be able to upload your was it basically your soul or your conscience on into a computer of some sorts. And like it's very crazy what they're trying to achieve. But what they've done already is they've put implant in a monkey, and that monkey can now play, you know, that game ping pong on like online, like Pong.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of it? It can
Yeah.
play that.
Hmm.
The monkey can play Pong.
Would you have that implant in you?
No, I wouldn't trust that.
Like
Well, I'll take it.
there's a lot of risk factors because it's not even like, say even if it works fully, there's a lot of like chances of like these like hackers hacking into your brain sort of.
Yeah.
Like it's very scary. There's a lot of ethical like considerations. While there's a lot of like medical like uses for it if it can achieve that, because it said there's a lot of potential for it to treat like serious brain conditions, people with like neurological like impair. Like you guys will probably know more about that than me, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's like a thing of like you can cause like digital death sort of, like if your consciousness is in a computer, then where are you, like how are you like living and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
It goes into like, so what do you guys think about that then?
I think I would take it.
You
Anything
take
to- anything to stop me from having to study, bro.
It just input all the data from the books into your brain, innit?
Just download everything.
I mean that's essentially what these men are trying to do. Like Elon Musk he's on another level. He's trying to do so many things at once. It's actually crazy.
I think if
But
you
I think it's
yeah, go on.
so I think it's very interesting the one point you raised about that the moral question of what exactly is our consciousness. So if we upload it onto a device,
Yeah.
and then obviously you can make different copies of it as well. So where is your actual consciousness?
Exactly.
So I think that's quite an interesting question. And if this is a thing that happens, then just even questions like, or if you delete someone's consciousness, are you essentially murdering them? Or like, what's the law going to be around that?
Yeah,
I think it will raise philosophical questions. I guess.
Yeah.
there's a lot of exactly. There's a lot of like ethical, physical, I can't say it, philosophical questions like, considered in like the world of AI. Like another thing that AI can be used for is in like financial technology, where like Bishop you were saying earlier on, in, like with like accountancy and like having like a lot of like and like the books and stuff, and like it can all like filled out quickly by AI, and all like the forms and the big like paperwork that you need to do, it can all be like done using AI. There's a lot of like credit scoring, like as you can know, like before in the past credit scoring was very hard to do. Now you can just go on like Experian and it will be done for you in like 20 minutes. So there's a lot of like we call it fintech, so like financial technology, and that also includes like cryptocurrency and like blockchaining. So that includes like a heavy amount of security. It's very secure right now for companies using like fintech. So there's a lot of advanced like features associated in finance with using AI. However, a lot of negatives are there's a lot of faults that can be if a company doesn't use fintech right. There's a lot of like bugs and like faulty systems that can be used. Which if you're handling someone's money and you're not using the right technologies, then there's a lot of ethical considerations to be considered there as well. So what do you guys think of those sort of advancements?
So this yeah, go on, Sandra.
I know. So basically, in terms of the financial things, I think you touched on a bit about what we mentioned before as well, about if AI can basically do all of these things, that humans tend to do. Again, it could lead to like we said, unemployment. It could also lead to faults, like you mentioned, and at the end, obviously, you still need human supervision, but yeah, it would lead to a change in dynamic for workers and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's not always the best thing, even though it's maybe a more convenient thing. So yeah.
So one comment I wanted to make about this fintech thing is it makes me even more skeptical of do you know like day traders?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's like the new hype, isn't it? Like everyone's involved in stocks. So you put money in crypto and then you try day trade, try to make a profit. But then you gotta understand that who are you competing against? Like you're competing against literally like algorithms and AI bots that are just coded so well to play the market. And even in Wall Street now, there's barely anyone there. It's just computers doing most of the microtransactions and in milliseconds. So AI has come to a point where you can even read news online and then adjust this the stocks, buy and sell stocks according to that in milliseconds.
Wow.
So when day traders think they can beat the market, I'm so skeptical because you're literally competing against some super bot that can manipulate the stock market in milliseconds from the news that it reads in milliseconds as well. So
it's crazy because AI this was maybe 10-15 years ago when a computer beat someone at chess. So if computers can do that, well I think it beat one of the greatest chess players in the world.
Okay.
And when they
I actually, so yeah, I've looked into that actually. So because I play chess sometimes here and there. I mean, given my name.
Oh shit!
But yeah, I think it was the Deep Blue.
Yeah, Deep Blue.
So it was Gary Kasparov, and I think Gary Kasparov won the first, or was it? I think it was another chess algorithm that he won.
Yeah.
But then
Deep
Deep
Blue.
Blue beat him afterwards.
If
But now this super advanced chess algorithms are super advanced.
Yeah.
So I think the highest ranking person is chess has ELO, and the highest ranking is 2,830 or something. That's normally what the highest ranking player in the world would normally be.
Wow.
And now chess algorithms are 3,400. So which means that the person has literally zero chance of winning, no chance at all.
So if my point was if that was done 10, 20 years ago, I don't know the exact date, but if that was done 10, 20 years ago, imagine what as you were saying about day traders, it's going to be increasingly hard for them to have a little tiny space in the market for their day trading.
Yeah.
So I think we've discussed all the benefits and the drawbacks. So in your guys' opinions, do you think the benefits outweigh the risks?
Well, I think obviously there's it depends on the situation. I think that's the balanced argument I'm gonna go with. So in some situations where obviously the stake of using AI, such as for example we mentioned in unsafe environments like going to space, and just playing video games and things like that, or even just playing chess. In those situations, it might be good to use AI, and also even if it helps humans in a way that it aids them in different ways, that might be good. But also, the main question is how much would you be able to trust it, or how much can we keep it under control? That's the main question, I think. So, with good policy making, like Bishop mentioned, and good good ways to control AI, we can look to a future where AI can be more incorporated into our lives. But
Mm.
again, it's all risky. But I do think there will be like greater AI in the future, and we'll see more and more of these technologies incorporate into our lives, I think.
So overall, I'm quite optimistic about AI and where we're heading towards. So hopefully in the future, also as these changes are happening, the people that are making these policies, the people that are in charge are going to be people of the current generation now, who have grown up with this technology and grown up with seeing how rapidly things can change in technology. So when times come, like in 10, 20 years time, where AI really hits the market, or there's a huge breakthrough there, so hopefully there will be people who are familiar with this, and policies are made to be able to safely incorporate AI into society more and more.
Yeah, like you guys make some really good. I think I agree with both of you. Where like without these policies, without keeping someone like these billionaires who make these technologies, without keeping them under control, like we'll be headed like I think in down like a really dark path where it would be like a Black Mirror-esque future, because like the AI world is moving at a rapid pace. Like it's so hard for like people to keep up. There's new technologies coming left, right, and center. I mentioned 3, which are old news right now. Like like it's crazy. So I think these politicians need to like keep up, and I do agree with Bishop's point where we need to have young policymakers that are like in touch with technology, are in touch with AI, because this is a big part of our like future and our present as well. So I think that will wrap up today's episode. So now let's moving on to
Wait, shall I finish it with one quote? I finish it with one quote.
Finish it with one quote. Okay.
So basically, in 2020, I want this written down. Elon Musk said, "AI will be smarter than humans in 5 years' time." So let's see by 2025 what happens.
Let's see.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's smarter than some people already.
Shit,
Though.
but Elon chats so much shit. I said to him. Okay,
Let's see,
so
let's see.
let's finish off the episode with Inside the Square. I think
Woo.
it's my turn, and I'll pick
Alright.
I'll pick Sanjog.
Oh, okay.
Sanjay got big.
But I got
last
picked
time.
last time as well. Pick Bishop.
Oh, I'll pick no. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll pick Bishop.
Yeah.
This guy needs a.
I'm kinda,
This guy
I'm
needs a
so
revenge.
shook now.
This guy needs a revenge.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting kind of shit.
Let's see what's the question. Oh, this isn't that okay. So if you had to give up Nepali food or normal fast food, which one would you choose?
Oh, I would give up fast food probably.
You'd give up fast food.
Yeah.
So no
I don't
burgers,
really eat that much.
no burgers, no Nando's, nothing.
Yeah, but Nando's is not fast food. You
Yeah,
sit
it's
down for
fast
Nando's
food.
mostly.
No Nando's, nothing.
No. Nando's is not
Yeah,
fast food.
yeah,
I think this is
Nando's is fast food.
this is a controversial topic. So if you guys are still tuned in, please comment below if Nando's is, because Nando's is not like fast food is like McDonald's, like KFC.
Nando's
you know,
is
these sort of
considered
things.
fast food, bro. How quickly did they give your order? Take your order?
Not quick enough, man. Not quick enough.
Oh,
Not quick enough.
shit.
Like now, McDonald's is meant to be like 1 minute. Like Nando's is not a minute thing.
Yeah,
And you can order.
it's a fast
I
food
don't know, like-
restaurant.
Well, so is
Is
a
it?
McDonald's.
Alright, so you're saying Nepalese food? You
I'll keep Nepalese food
Yeah.
because that's what I eat every day at home.
Yeah, I packed that.
and like
as well.
yeah.
Fair enough. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Sorry if you missed Bidan, he can't make it, so well, what can we do? Like,
And we're not sorry if you didn't miss him.
so thank you guys for watching. I've been Kishor.
I've been Sanjo.
I've been Bishop.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.